Welcome back, trainers. So we have a really fun video here, and we're going to be comparing shadow to non-shadow Pokemon in PvP. And then at the end, we're going to have a special guest, so stay tuned until the end because that is very exciting, and it was really fun to actually battle them. So what we're going to be doing here is I made a shadow Snorlax, and I did purchase a secondary move. So that is going to be in the Great League, and I also have another Snorlax in the Great League, and we're going to be just kind of side-by-side comparison so you can see the difference in the performance from the shadow compared to the regular, as well as my Mawile, because I do have a completely, well, not completely maxed out Mawile that's non-shadow, but it's powered up and ready for the Great League, the shiny here. So you can see the differences in the IVs. All right, so this one right here, the shadow is more ideal for PvP, but nonetheless, this Mawile is still good, and the performance in side-by-side comparison is still going to be very relevant. Now, if we take a look at Pvpoke here, in the open Great League meta, if we take a look at Shadow Mawile, it is going to be 111, outperforming the regular Mawile. But then when we take a look at Snorlax here, for the Shadow form, it's going to be 129, while the regular one is going to be 70. And the reason for that is because Snorlax's CP is so high, the potential in the Great League is not as great as Mawile because you can potentially get it to level 40. So let's go ahead and do some comparisons here to see what's going on, to kind of further, I don't know, inspire you to maybe power up a shadow or not power up a shadow. So here we go, up against Spark. So it took me a few times to get the same movesets on the Pokemon because it is random here. So let's see what we have. We have the shadow in the middle and then the non-shadow to the right. So right off the bat, you can see that the shadow Pokemon is doing more damage. Now, as far as the lower defense, is that going to be taking into consideration here? Is it actually doing anything? Am I taking more damage? Ever so slightly, folks. So I think the damage payoff for the lesser defense is well worth it. As you can see, there's not much of an HP difference between the two here, as the non-shadow Mawile is not going to have its defense lowered, but they're pretty much almost at the same HP. As we've seen, the shadow did get into the red first, but it is much farther ahead as far as damage. As you can see here, it is just ripping and tearing through Spark's team, and it is actually finished the shadow while the regular Mawile is still going, but the regular Mawile is still able to do this. Now, keep in mind, we're going up against Ultra League training here, so we're using Great League Pokemon going up against Ultra League leaders. All right, so the next one is going to be Candela. So yet again, took me a while to get the correct moveset so we can do a complete test. Now, what I did here was do exactly what I did with the Shadow Snorlax. So I'm going to tell you right now, the Shadow Snorlax up against the Ultra League leader here, well, team, performed really well. It didn't take me multiple tries. It was just a one and done, right? As far as the regular Snorlax, though, it took me a couple of tries because what I was going to have to do with the Typhlosion, as you're going to see here, is undercharge. So I was able to charge a little bit more energy for the very last Pokemon so I can get off more body slams, because the Shadow Snorlax is doing more damage and I wasn't having to overcharge too much on the Typhlosion at the end here. As you can see, I hit all of the bubbles, while the regular Snorlax, I had to let a few go so I can get a little bit more energy to take out the Magmortar here. And the Shadow Snorlax is trucking away absolutely phenomenal, as it has a sliver of health left and is able to still run through the Ultra League leader here, the team, and the Shadow wins, while the regular one is still going, but it is able to do it. But like I said, it did take me several tries. So there you have it. Pretty self-explanatory. The shadow Pokemon are just doing more damage and are not really falling that much faster. Now, I think you can do the same comparison for raid Pokemon in a sense that they're going to be doing more damage but falling a little bit slower. But as we've seen, taking a look at kind of the data as well as comparing the shadow to non-shadow, they're going to take the same amount of Pokemon to take out these specific raids. So as far as the lower defense, it's really not too concerning. So going up against the final team leader here with the Mawile, let's see what we have going on. So I felt like, I didn't know if I was going to be able to do this because restarting over and over again, I couldn't get the Empoleon to get Metal Claw as well as the beginning Pokemon to have the same moves as well, so I just went with it, right? But the regular Mawile was still able to get through, as the Shadow is going to be completing it first, as we've seen like in the other ones here. And we take it out. So it did have a little bit more health for the non-shadow Pokemon. So there you go. Just wanted to show you a little comparison. The shadow Pokemon are doing a lot more damage than the regular ones, as we known, but doing a side-by-side comparison so you can have a comprehensible visual see as to how they're actually going to be performing here. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few of these battles here, and I will be switching up my team. I decided to take off Venusaur, not that it's not good, but I wanted to try Altaria because I was running into a few Alolan Marowaks, and I'll tell you what, it was giving me some trouble having Venusaur as well as Mawile, and then Azumarill if I did not have the lead against that Alolan Marowak. So the Altaria was serving me quite nicely. And then a few battles in, I do decide to change the Ice Beam on my Azumarill to play rough. Although I do have another Azumarill that is 1500 CP exactly, the one that I'm specifically using here that's not quite 1500 but basically there, is going to be more ideal for PvP as far as the IVs are concerned. It does have a little bit more HP, and I've survived with 1 HP in many circumstances, so definitely helped me out in a lot of cases here. So we were able to take out that Registeel with our Mawile. In comes Meganium here, and it's basically a wrap, right? So we're just gonna, you know, burn that last shield, and then at this point they decide to just back out, which, yeah, I understand. Yep, I totally get it. And then moving on to our next opponent here. Now, I'm going to tell you this, throughout these videos, the Sky Attack bubbles, folks, I am, wow, I don't know what's going on. It was really late, no excuses, but as you're going to see what happened in the morning here going up against the last opponent, I am just awful at hitting the flying bubbles for the animations. I don't know what it is. I just need to get in the zone here and pay attention. It kind of caught me off guard. I was like, oh yeah, I'm using Altaria with these flying bubbles, duh, get with the program here. Anyways, so the reason why I decided to take off Ice Beam for now, just to test out Play Rough, is because of a lot of these Azumarill leads mirror matches. I was getting sick and tired of it and losing because I had Ice Beam. Ice Beam is great, but I just wanted to try out Play Rough because it does pull up that win against the Azumarill lead if they do have Ice Beam and Hydro Pump. So we're able to take out that Mawile. In comes a Charizard, and I was like, ooh, what am I going to do here? Because they're doing super effective damage, right? And the Charizard's a bit squishy, so I just decided to let the Mawile go down. I was like, okay, we have 2 shields. We have an Altaria. Let's see if we can pull this win up. I do decide to use a shield here because I was expecting a Dragon Claw. Super effective damage. I was actually able to hit the Excellent on the flying animation. Wow! So we have a Deoxys. This is not a good situation, but I have a decent amount of energy, and Altaria is so tanky, it can take that Rock Slide. So let's see what we can do here. And Dragon Breath is just absolutely phenomenal, right? As far as a quick move, doing so much damage as long as they're not resisting it. Even if they're resisting it, still doing okay damage here. So we're able to survive that and get off a Sky Attack. Come on, let's go hit that Excellent. Don't mess up. All right, we hit it, and they barely survive. We take them out with a Dragon Breath. So at this point, I do decide to switch over to Play Rough on my Azumarill and TM away Ice Beam. So the results are this. I'm just going to give you my thoughts beforehand. Absolutely love Play Rough and Hydro Pump. It is amazing, folks. It has helped me win those Azumarill mirror matches and a few other situations here, although Ice Beam is still very nice going up against Flying Dragon, say Altaria, right? So they do make a switch, and at this point I was like, I don't really have a great answer to an Azumarill, only my own Azumarill. So what we're going to do is just continue to truck on here. We're going to go ahead, I think, and shield this up so we can get off one more Play Rough and do a decent amount of damage because we do have the Mawile and the Altaria in the back, and they do not really want to see it. But I was able to get it somewhat low enough to go in here with my Altaria and kind of just hopefully Dragon Breath it down. At this point, I have no more shields. They're like, they make a switch into the Haunter. I was like, oh, okay. So we have so much energy. We're going to go ahead and go with one Sky Attack. They use their first shield. And then we have another one back to back. So we're going to go ahead and do that again. They decide to let that go through. In comes Registeel. I was like, ooh, what am I going to do here? So let's just continue on with the Altaria for a second here. And then let's go ahead and switch into Mawile to catch this. Unfortunately, it's going to have to lose a lot of health here. They do decide to continue on. And we have no more shields, so they're going to be using, yet again, more energy on that Registeel. So it's basically depleted. So we're going to go ahead and go in with our Altaria, get off a Sky Attack, and we should be able to pretty much take this thing out here. We didn't even have to hit those bubbles, but he does decide to shield it up and use up the last remaining bit of his energy, so that's good. He switches into his Azumarill immediately, but it's so low we're able to finish it off with Bubble. In comes the Registeel, and we're able to finish it off with Bubble. That was a very close match there. All right, moving into the next match, starting it off with Azumarill, of course. And I was like, perfect, let's go. I have play rough now, so not really too much to worry about. Say I had a mirror match like this with my Ice Beam, what I would have to do is go for possibly a Hydro Pump and then have my Altaria catch a Hydro Pump or something. I'd have to figure out a situation where I'd have to pull up the win or whatever it may be. So having play rough kind of alleviates all that, and I don't have to really worry about those mirror matches. Just go for that play rough here, and we should be looking good to go. So having a blast with this team, still enjoying Shadow Mawile, folks. It's not one of those Pokemon where it has to be very specific. It's a solid Pokemon, shadow or non-shadow. I'm telling you what, the thing is absolutely amazing. And I've been encountering people using the same set, possibly with Ironhead, and I am so proud and happy to see people using the Shadow, well, Mawile in general in the Great League. It's a really cool feeling to know people. I don't know if I was the one influencing. I don't mean to sound arrogant or nothing, but I didn't really see them before. But it's quite amazing that people are using it because it is really good. So we do take out that Meganium, and at this point they do back out because they realize that's a loss there. They still had 2 shields, but yeah, it was still a bad situation. So yet again, another Azumarill mirror match. I was like, fine, I have play rough. Doesn't bother me much. Let's go. All right, so obviously we're going to be going for that. Now, what indicated to me that they didn't go for a play rough kind of right after I did or right before or anything like that is that they had Hydro Pump, and I was like, yeah. So there they do that switch, kind of like we were discussing. They had to figure out something, and they realized this as well. So they do switch into their Venusaur. We're going to be going into our Altaria here. Kind of farm it down just a little bit more. Another Sludge Bomb is either going to almost KO me or take me really low. So they do bring back the Azumarill, and that's fine. We're just going to let this Altaria go down at this point. It did its job. It took out the Venusaur. 1 Pokemon. It's looking great, right? So we can just go ahead and go back in here with our own Azumarill and just pray that they have some sort of Steel type in the back that can be met with our Mawile. Hopefully like a Registeel or something like that, right? Not a Swampert. Although having a Swampert and an Azumarill on your team is a little bit risky. And that Pokemon is going to be the Alolan Marowak. Okay, so here we go. This is exactly what I was telling you guys about. Didn't have my Altaria or my Azumarill to kind of back it up. At least aligning them perfectly with each other. At this point, the Azumarill does go in, but he has so much energy, he baits me, and then he goes for a Shadow Ball. So well played, sir, whoever you are. Those Alolan Marowaks are giving me kind of a bit of a trouble. So here we go. The guest star is Brandon Tan, folks. Let's go. We start off with a absolutely horrible lead, and at this point, my heart dropped, and I was like, no, please don't tell me I'm going to lose this. This is pretty much a losing scenario. He has the lead now as far as switch advantage. I do bring in my Mawile to counter that Shiftry, but he does switch into his Azumarill, but at least we're able to get off a play rough and take that Azumarill down really low. So at this point, I decide to shield up the play rough. It wouldn't have been very effective, but still doing a decent amount of damage to me because Mawile's squishy. We're going to be going for that Power Punch. He actually used a shield, so we got a shield out of him. That's great. And we're going to let the Mawile go down. And I was thinking just going with the Altaria and farm down. Now, we know it has play rough, right? So I was like, okay, we'll just try to catch it with our Azumarill here. And we do. So, I mean, sort of successful. And he's going back in with his Shiftry, which I knew was going to happen. So I do let the first Leaf Blade go through. And we're almost able to get to a play rough. And I was thinking, man, this is not good. We do have the Altaria, 1 shield left, not full health. And I'm going to show you a critical error. As we were talking about in the beginning about hitting these bubbles on Sky Attack, he brings in a Skarmory, and then yet again my heart dropped. I was like, no, I had the counters, but nothing lined up right. So watch this. Go for a Sky Attack, and I miss 1, 2 bubbles like a scrub, and you're going to see how much that mattered here in a moment. So he does bring in his Azumarill here. We have 1 shield, and we're like, you know what, a play rough is coming in hot. We are going to shield that up. Farm it down. We have a ton of energy. He has 1 shield left. We're going for that Sky Attack, folks. Let's go. He shields it up, of course, but we're able to almost get to another one, and we do. And we hit an excellent, but watch this. Watch this, folks. He's going to go for a Sky Attack. He had 1 HP. If I was able to hit that excellent prior, I would have been able to take this win. Well played, Brandon. Good games. We were saving our best buddy, or best friendship deal here for GoFest. Not saying I'm going, but unfortunately, it happened through the Go Battle League, so rest in peace. We were trying to make it a special occasion, right? So trainers, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up. This was really fun to make. Shadow Mawile, absolutely loving this thing. Had a great opportunity to going up against good trainers here and just having fun showing you the comparison between Shadow and non-Shadow Pokemon. Thanks again for watching, trainers, and if you did enjoy it, please give it a big thumbs up, and I'll catch you all next time.